Hey, welcome in everyone to the Hoops Frenzy podcast. I'm Dean Holzwarth, along with my good friend Andy McDonald. Last week of the regular season for the boys.
Not gonna lie, I looked at the schedule last night and that kind of stunned me. I was just like, whoa, it's already over.
Oh, it's already over.
Yeah.
It's gone by so fast, and obviously all these teams have been playing all these different games because of the weather and cancellations and makeups.
Yeah, it all happened so fast because of that in a way.
100%.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we're going to talk districts today. We're going to talk about a costly injury to a Byron Center star. But first of all, we're going to talk about Mr. Basketball finalists were announced today. We got two from the Grand Rapids area, or the West Michigan area, I will say. So two of the finalists, we have Cam Ryans.
Of course.
From Northview. No surprise.
Well deserved, yeah.
Yep, and we have James Martin from Muskegon.
Okay, yeah.
And they go along with Greg Grays from Birmingham Brother Rice, Jalen Allen from Wayne Memorial, and then obviously KJ Torbert, Calvin Torbert's son from East Lansing.
Okay, yeah, I mean
so those are your five finalists.
For James, congrats to him. I mean, that's I feel like on that Muskegon team, you could pick almost like three or four players.
Yeah, Petty. I mean, there's lots of guys.
They're so good. I mean, they're just all around so good, and I expect them to make such a deep run. To be the top player that makes it for the Mr. Basketball. I mean, obviously, I'm sure in the past that we've seen a couple players even make it onto that finalist sheet on the same team.
Yep.
But that's still really cool. He was able to make it from Muskegon. Then obviously Cam Ryan's that's a team that I've covered plenty over the last 3-4 years. Now it feels like I cover a lot of their games or just end up doing that. And every time Cam Ryans is going to be the guy that you're looking for the highlights because he can do it all. He can drive, he can shoot, he can dunk. He can do everything on the offensive end of the floor, and he's a great team leader. I feel like he's done so much for that program since he's been. I'm not sure if it was a freshman or a sophomore when he was moved up to varsity, but man, he's a lot of fun to watch, and doesn't surprise me that he got the honor. That's for sure.
No, very well deserving for Cam. It'll be interesting to see how the voting goes, for that award. But you talked about both guys from the West Michigan area, very, very deserving.
Yeah, no doubt.
Also, before we get into districts, kind of a shout out, or not necessarily shout out, obviously a little disappointing news. Cassius Bont, stud at Byron Center, missed the rest of the season. He's been dealing with shoulder problems, so he had surgery. So he's out for the rest of the season for Byron Center. On the varsity since a freshman, led Byron Center to the quarterfinals last year. And just a tough way for his high school career to end, but what a great career it's been for him.
Yeah, no, that's tough, man. I mean, anytime you're that important of a piece to a team that late in the season, you go down for an injury. Yep. The team there goes two ways. One, it really affects them that much where they can't win, or they use it as a rallying point and they find a way to win for him. Yep. So hopefully that it's the latter for Byron Center, and they're able to find a way to win for him.
And it's funny you say that because last night they took Muskegon down to the wire.
I'm telling you,
they
man,
were tied with I think a couple minutes left in the game, and Muskegon did kind of pull away in the last minute or so, and I think they ended up winning by 5 or 6. But yeah, they kind of rallied around Cassius's absence and played well against Muskegon.
It's no joke to do that against Muskegon either. No. There's not a lot of teams been able to stay close against them. So.
No, definitely. Also, we got to talk about the Catholic Central news.
Yeah.
Chris Pearl on Monday was relieved of his duties and was asked to step down from the head coaching job. Division II Coach of the Year last year, led Catholic Central to the semifinals. And the timing of it, basically the school kind of came out and said this was in the best interest of the school and the community. They wouldn't get into anything about reasons why. They said it wasn't nothing, wasn't a criminal activity, anything like that. Timing of it, Andy's just kind of weird.
It's very weird, especially because if Catholic Central drops that part of their in that release that they said that there was no criminal reason, they're not doing it because he did something they didn't expect. I mean, there's 100 different reasons that you could wonder why this would happen, and we're not going to obviously get into
we won't speculate
a bunch of
what we
reasons
think
of what could happen or what might have happened, but it's disappointing at the end of the day. I can tell you that much because, like I said, the last time I went to go watch Catholic Central play, they looked the best they have all season. So it's hard.
They had won 11 in a row and they've lost their last 2.
It makes it hard to I don't get it. I don't understand where that would come from, and that news would just come out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, when you're those kids, I mean, you lose your coach like that you were looking up to all year.
Yep.
Obviously, who knows what the reason is, but either way, it's got to be disappointing. It doesn't matter how it is, and it's probably hard to just go to practice and move on from that and just and go play. So I'm wishing the best for those kids in that team, and I hope that they find a way to get around it because they had it rolling. I mean, they had a great season going for them, and hopefully they are able to kind of do it in a different way of what we just talked about with injury. Hopefully they're able to find a way to kind of rally around it and work for it. And I don't know what Chris did or what the reasoning is, but hopefully they're able to find some kind of resolve with that, or we're able to find out what happened at some point here.
Yeah, because it's just interesting, right? Because the districts start on Monday, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the timing doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they
really
felt like they just couldn't wait, and so like obviously I think there's a severity, like it had to be something that was kind of serious to do it at this point of the year, right?
Yeah, I mean it's again 100 different things you could guess, but you can't imagine that it was just, oh, he's gonna step down, or like, oh, they had a disagreement, so they're done.
Yeah.
You would think no matter what, he would get to finish the season with the team if there was. It's and I'm sure we're not going to hear about it until the end of the year because they probably don't want to bring any more attention to it until Catholic Central's team is done. But there's got to be something there more than what we know right now. It's for sure.
We'll see how kind of Catholic Central kind of rallies around this with their assistant coach now taking over the head coaching duties. I heard he did a really good job. He has done a really good job for them. So, we'll see how this kind of plays out.
Yeah, for sure.
In districts. Well, let's talk about districts. When we're recording this on Wednesday, districts start on Monday. We talked about a lot of different teams we feel can make a deep run. But let's go over some of these districts. Shout out to Jason Hutton. I have known Jason Hutton for a very long time. Literally a basketball guru, sports guru. Am I right?
The guy, if it comes to local sports,
it is.
like I miss.
If you have any
having
questions,
Jason
Andy's
around, man.
Any questions to Jason? Jason knows the answer.
Jason knows the answer.
Like off the top of his head too. You know, he doesn't even have to look it up.
No, for sure. I mean, he could ask about the 1962, I don't know, whatever basketball team, and he's probably going to know the starting five.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so we love Jason, and he actually put together district brackets with the seedings. Obviously, the seedings now still, again, this year. His favorites, his sleepers, this and that. So we're just going to go through those and kind of give you our picks in these districts and some very intriguing matchups in districts like we kind of talked about. I think the best one is going to be out at Muskegon. You got Muskegon, Rockford, Greenville, Cedar Springs, Reese Puffer, and Mona Shores. So Rockford's the number 1 seed. Muskegon is the number 1 second seed. So they have buys, obviously, but all arrows are pointing to a Rockford-Muskegon district final.
Yeah, and everybody wants it too, man. That'd be great. I mean, Rockford's had some heartbreaking losses this year already, so they've dealt with that, and they should be battle-tested for it. Again, that's a team that can Josh Boskin, that guy's hard to stop inside when he gets going, man. He can do it in a lot of different ways, and obviously Eli Wolf can handle the ball well. But yeah, I mean, we've talked. Muskegon's got a Mr. Basketball candidate. They have one of the better overall rosters, not just in our area. And so does Rockford. I mean, they both do in the state. So that's one of those games. It's like it could probably be a state championship game if the brackets didn't work out that way, and I think everybody's looking forward to that one if it happens.
Yeah, refresh my memory. Didn't Rockford win on a buzzer beater last year?
Yes.
Against Muskegon?
Yes, that was it. Yes.
At this district.
Was
that the finals or the semis?
I want to say that happened almost a couple times last year to them against Muskegon, kind of like it did this year against East Kentwood.
Okay.
So that was
okay.
I don't remember the exact result. Again, these things blur together.
But I think it was Rockford that did it, though.
But yeah.
Because they were running off the court. Remember? It was the corner.
I remember it being a buzzer beater.
Okay.
You're 100% right on that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So expect another great matchup there.
Yeah.
Obviously not overlooking anybody else, but those are the matchups that obviously we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So also we have
Well, I mean, last night when I was covering some games, we had Greenville and Kennewa, my alma mater, that had a pretty big matchup for the River City Alliance, and I was impressed with what I saw from Greenville. I haven't been able to go out and see them.
Yeah, we've talked about them a lot, but
I haven't been able to really go out and see them play a game this year yet. It just hasn't worked out to where I got it assigned, and I covered Kennewa probably like 3 or 4 times, and they can play with anybody. They can defend. They shoot the ball really well, and I felt like that was going to be a great game. I mean, Greenville just blew them out of the gym. I mean, they only ended up winning by 13 points, but I think at one point Greenville was up by 25 in the second half, and they just they owned that game. Like, they took it over, kind of looked flustered all the way through, and they've done a great job making that program relevant and actually, competitive in basketball, because it's been at least 15 years since that's been a thing. I remember, like, when I was younger, they had a couple teams that were really good, but yeah, it's been good to see. And no knock, they still have time to kind of prove that they can maybe be the better team, and maybe that just wasn't their night. But right now, from what I'm seeing from Greenville, they got a bunch of kids that have been on varsity for a couple of years there, and they look like they could be a real force. Remember last year, I believe they played Muskegon in the first round of the playoffs last year, and everybody kind of talked about that was a bad draw to kind of start it off. We'll see what they're able to do this year. So
it's interesting you say that. So let's turn back the clock a little bit, a couple seconds. So Greenville plays Cedar Springs in their first district game, and then if they win, they play Muskegon.
That's
in the semis.
It's gonna happen again, and they're gonna get there.
Can Greenville surprise?
They could. I think they could, man. That team with the way they shoot the ball and they move it, they have a couple of point guards in that team. Forgive me not knowing their names. Again, I've only covered them one time this year, but I remember watching them in the past. They've only gotten better. I mean, last night what I saw was really impressive. I'm not gonna pick them to beat Muskegon, but I do think that they could have a better game than they did last year against them, especially because I think that in the first round, getting Cedar Springs to kind of get, I'm not trying to, Cedar Springs obviously has a chance to get a win too, but Greenville's the favorite, and if they can get by that game, it's at least a buffer before just having to play Muskegon. And it's better than just playing them in the first round and having a great game like that be in the first round.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting matchup if we get to those two teams.
Yes, for sure.
Division 1 out at Grand Haven. We have Grand Haven, and we have West Ottawa, Zeeland East, Zeeland West, and Holland. I think the favorite in this one has to be West Ottawa.
Yeah.
The competitive OK Red, as we've talked about all season long, I think they're playing well right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was just going to say, based on the record, they would technically be like my upset pick almost because they haven't had the best record. But they are more athletic, and when they put it together, like, they can beat anybody in that conference. Again, it's just there's so many good teams over there. I'm sure you're about to say a couple more of the matchups that are pretty good. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if West Ottawa made that kind of run. But Grand Haven also has a very good roster as well.
They lost their stud though. They lost Plummer for the season,
and that's tough. That hurts. So I think you'd have to pick West Ottawa now to make it out of there.
Definitely, yeah. I expect West Ottawa and Grand Haven to meet up in that one. Jennison's hosting another Division 1. We have Hudsonville, Coopersville, Granville, Union, and Jennison.
Yeah.
Hudsonville's playing well, even though they lost to Muskegon a couple nights ago.
Again, those teams can beat each other any night. So I really I feel like Hudsonville's had 4 or 5 losses in the year.
Maybe 5 losses.
Yeah, and they all of them have been close. They don't lose by a lot of points. Javon Daniels is the leader of that team, and they have a couple of bigs that move really well underneath. I expect them to be able to make a run, but I also like Granville too, man. I mean, Granville's got a really good buildup as well. So
here's the interesting thing about Granville. Obviously, my daughters go there, so I have a little more insight on Granville. But so they started the season 10-0. Then they lost 9 straight.
That's crazy.
And they did win the last 2 games. They had Schoolcraft, a couple non-conference games that they won and bounced back a little bit. But they do have the talent. Anthony Richardson, Isaiah Guyton, Carter Wade. So they do have the talent to be able to surprise it. And the one thing I love about the postseason, and you know this, I feel like anybody can beat anybody, right? A bad shooting night, a bad matchup, and anything can happen.
Yeah, sometimes it's size will simply overwhelm a team. There's just no way. But again, in that conference, in that bracket, there are so many teams that could upset you because a lot of them have athletes that can make shots, and that makes a huge. It's always the team. If you look at an NCAA tournament standpoint of a field of 64, the teams that upset teams are always the ones that come in and shoot the lights out from beyond the 3-point line. So we'll see. We'll see if that's able to happen for any of those teams.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot, especially with football too. When we talk about the postseason, it's so hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season. It's old cliche, but Granville's lost to Hudsonville twice, and now if we see a Hudsonville-Granville district final, they're gonna have to do it again.
It's very possible they could too. I mean, again, Hudsonville finds themselves in a lot of close games. They haven't always come up on the winning end. I think that they're a great team, but I think Granville has a lot of talent. If they get it going on the right night where they do make a couple of those shots from outside, I like Anthony Richardson, man, that guy, he's got size and can do it from anywhere on the floor.
So athletic.
Yes, they have the chance to surprise some people, I should say.
Yep. Another Division 1 district at Ottawa Hills. It's got to be the favorite here with Northview. Forest Hills Northern's the number 2 seed in that bracket. You got Forest Hills Central, you got Ottawa Hills, East Grand Rapids, and Lowell. Northview's, we talked about. It's just a tough schedule that they've had all year, and I think that's really going to benefit them now for the postseason, and Cam Ryan's.
No, Northview is the poster for what people should do. I feel like when it comes to scheduling teams, playing good teams, and building their program up. Honestly, what they have done the past 4 to 5 years, David Chana deserves a lot of credit for that too, because he was a big part of that before he left. And they have really proved to be one of the better teams in our area, and I don't think that's going to change anytime in the future, because even some of the guys they have playing, obviously this is Cam's last go around, but they have a lot of people that are still. I mean, they have freshmen and sophomores in that team that play minutes for them and play big minutes for them. Like it's just. When you get it going in the right direction like that and you start to make kids in the program care like Northview has, you have people that are going to work at it to become better, and that's why they're at where they're at right now.
Yep. I feel like the best team in the area so far, you can say it's maybe Rockford. I think between, you can go either way, is East Kentwood.
Boom.
Right? Like football, obviously, they made their run, and I think the basketball team, I was just looking, Mike Thomas's first year last year, I think they went like 12-12.
Yeah.
Right? So they were kind of up and down all year, but this year they've really obviously shown up and been one of the top teams in the area. I think their district, they're going to get Byron Center potentially in the finals. But that's a team that we think can make a deep run.
I think East Kentwood is going to be playing at the Breslin this year. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I think that this is like, it's interesting you use football as an example because obviously they ended up running into a very tough matchup in football before getting to Ford Field. But before that, they were able to prove a lot of people wrong and kind of move on with that. I think it's almost like the same thing you're seeing with this boys basketball team right now. Like it's 12-12 last year or around that mark, and they have the talent but didn't really put it together on the floor.
Yep.
You give a good coach another year and they find a way to have the record they have right now and beat teams like they have. So, and obviously they've had everything you want too, with like having a tough loss that they had against Rockford, and they also beat them in a tight game like that. So I think East Kentwood is going to be a really tough out for anybody that has to play against them.
Yeah, definitely battle tested.
No, 100%,
is my word I will
man.
use.
They are strong, and they have the length and everything else to compete with anybody in the state is how I look at it.
Yep. Okay, let's go to a Division II matchup. We just talked about Chris Pearl. This one's going to be at Comstock Park. We envision here a Catholic Central Grand Rapids Christian matchup in the district finals.
That'd be a good
Catholic
one.
Central is the number 1 seed. Grand Rapids Christian and Eric Taylor's team has been playing really well right now. Despite his son Braylon Taylor being out, I think he's coming back here soon, but Grand Rapids Christian's been playing well.
Yeah, for sure. And he's a key player on that team.
Yeah.
So the fact that Eric's been able to get that team to keep playing that way even without that talent, because obviously I mean I feel like his son had kind of the green light to shoot from anywhere, but he earned it, man. I mean, he can hit any shot from any part of the
just
floor.
like his dad. I watched his dad in high school. I went to high school with his dad, and he could hit it from anywhere.
He's a legit player, and I feel like that's kind of slid under the radar a little bit because Grand Rapids Christian hasn't had the best record this year, and they have lost a few games, which I think has been a little disappointing for them. But like I think he's one of the better players in our area, honestly. So hopefully they're able to get him back, and if so, that's going to lead to a great. I mean, that's if you want to say what would be the most like toss-up matchup at that point. I think if Catholic Central and Grand Rapids Christian play each other, I wouldn't know who to pick as a winner, to be honest with you.
I feel like we're going to have some great district final games next Friday night.
No doubt, man.
All right, a couple more here real quick. At Kennewick Hills, you just talked about it. Kennewick Hills and West Catholic play.
That's so fun, dude.
In the semis.
That is like when I was in high school. That was always the rivalry, man. Like those two do not like each other, and the fact that they get to play each other in a playoff setting in the first round. I think both teams have respectable talent. I do expect Kennewick to get the job done in that one, but it'll be interesting to see that. That's going to be a full gym, man. That's one I want to be at for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason Knight real quick. He has Kennewick Hills as the favorite. Yeah. Jason also has West Catholic as his pick, but he has a sleeper being Lee.
Wow.
And
okay. I like that.
We've played Lee twice over at Tri-Unity, and Lee has a they got a big man. I just know his number actually, but he has 27 against us in the second meeting last Friday. Tough to guard inside.
No, Lee's good, man.
Tough, and they got some good guards. So I wouldn't want to play Lee, and that would be a matchup for. That would be a potential getting to the district final against either West Catholic or Kennewick.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be an exciting matchup, and I think Wyoming has tested themselves against a couple teams that are divisions ahead of them too on their schedule, and they've gotten some wins. So. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to predict, but honestly, I could see Wyoming sneaking up and winning that district. To be honest, yeah.
All right, last one we're gonna talk about is over at Godwin, where we kind of expect Uni Christian and South Christian to kind of battle for that one. Top two teams, by far in that district. And when Uni Christian and South Christian play. Packed gym.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yep.
And just loud, and that atmosphere is going to be unbelievable as well.
You know exactly what you're going to get when you get that kind of a matchup.
I can't pick that one.
So it's
that'll be a hard one to pick too.
Every year it feels like it's that way though. Like even if a team clearly looks better on paper in the past and they've had better years, the other will beat them when you don't expect them to. So I think that's a good environment. And that's one if you get to with the way those gyms get packed, you're going to want to get there a little bit early.
100%. Yep. Lastly, we'll talk about Division 4. Obviously, Tri-Unity over
Take it
Where I
away.
help coach at, going for a third straight state championship. We have Sacred Heart on Wednesday, and then we play the winner Zion Christian and Highland Calvary. So I know I'm slightly biased because I've watched this team obviously all year. I do think, despite the losses that we had last year with Keaton and Joey Mellon and Noah, I do think that Coach Brent Voorhees has this team. Their defense is just nasty. I think he has them primed to make a run. Regionals is going to be very tough if we get to regionals, which we should. No offense to the other teams. But regionals will be tough for us. But I do think this team has all of the makings just because of their defense to get back to the President.
You forgot the most important part, and that's what I was going to ask you about, is that you guys lost somebody else a little bit bigger last year, and your head coach with Mark Keeler. I mean, what has the transition been like? I mean, like having a new coach this year, and the fact that you guys have still been able to be this good and kind of keep it going.
I think there's a reason that Mark kind of basically picked Brent to kind of take over for him, because he knew the basketball mind Brent had, how competitive he is, and I think he just knew that he could take over this program and continue the success that Keeler had for so many years.
Sure.
Right, and I think the buy-in. The togetherness from the varsity team. Right now they're 19-1. We just won the conference championship last night by beating Muskegon Catholic Central. So I think the buy-in, the togetherness of this group, and it has been tremendous to watch. And he really has them playing well right now. So
I think that's a great way to word it, because like it doesn't matter if you have more talent than most of the teams that conference they just have, and obviously. The year taking over after Mark leaves, you probably have like the most leftover talent maybe that he was kind of grooming. It doesn't matter. It takes a lot to just step in and kind of continue the success. A lot of things can go wrong with a coaching job like that. So it's been impressive you guys have been able to do that. That's for sure.
Yep. It should be good. It should be a fun ride, hopefully. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Obviously looking forward to the last game of the regular season on Friday, and then districts next week. So thanks for joining us. We'll talk about more postseason play next week.